You're standing in an auto parts store looking at two bottles of engine oil. Both say full synthetic. One costs around $20. The other costs 30, 40, or even more. So you naturally assume the more expensive bottle must give your engine better protection. But that assumption can cost you money. Because the words full synthetic don't tell the whole story. Different oils can use different base oil technologies, different additive packages, different approvals, and completely different performance targets. And some oils are genuinely excellent. Others are much harder to justify at their price. So today, we're ranking 9 popular full synthetic oils based on what actually matters, not the size of the logo on the bottle. And when we reach the end, I'll show you 3 oils that can actually be worth paying for. But here's the catch. Number 1 isn't simply the most expensive oil you can buy. What full synthetic really means. Before we start counting down, there's one thing you need to understand. Full synthetic does not mean every synthetic oil is made from the exact same type of base oil. Modern motor oils can use different base stocks, including highly refined Group 3, chemically synthesized Group 4 PAO, and specialized components commonly classified as Group 5. Some formulations can also use gas-to-liquid base oils, such as Shell's Pure Plus technology. But here's where people get confused. Group 3 doesn't automatically mean bad, and PAO doesn't automatically mean better. The final formulation matters. The additive package matters. The viscosity matters. The manufacturer approvals matter. And most importantly, does the oil actually meet the requirements of your engine? Now let's start the countdown. Number 9. Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic. At number 9, we have Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic. Let's make something clear right away. This is not a bad oil. It's a mainstream synthetic product designed to meet modern performance requirements. The problem is what many consumers assume when they see the Valvoline name and the words full synthetic. They may assume they're automatically getting some exotic laboratory formulation that's dramatically different from every cheaper synthetic on the shelf. That's not something the front of the bottle can prove. What matters is the exact product specification, viscosity, approvals, and formulation. So if you find Valvoline at a good price and it meets your vehicle's requirements, it can make perfect sense. But if you're paying a significant premium simply because of the brand name, that's where I'd start comparing. Verdict: good oil, but don't overpay for the label. And number 8 has a very similar lesson. Number 8, Castrol Edge. Number 8 is Castrol Edge. Castrol has enormous brand recognition, and Edge is positioned as a premium full synthetic. But here's the misconception. Some drivers hear synthetic and immediately think PAO. That's not necessarily the case. A full synthetic motor oil can be formulated using highly refined Group 3 base stocks and still be marketed as full synthetic. And that doesn't automatically make it inferior. What matters is how the finished oil performs and whether it meets the required specifications. So, is Castrol Edge bad? No. Would I automatically pay substantially more for it just because the bottle says Edge? Also no. Compare the specifications, compare the approvals, compare the price. Because sometimes, the difference between two oils is much smaller than the difference between their price tags. Verdict: solid product, but the premium needs to make sense. Now let's look at a brand that causes even more confusion. Number 7, Mobil 1. This one is interesting because people often talk about Mobil 1 as if it's one single oil. It isn't. Mobil 1 has multiple product families designed for different applications, different viscosities, different performance targets, different vehicle requirements. And that's why asking, is Mobil 1 good? Isn't really the right question. The better question is, which Mobil 1 product are we talking about? A product designed for fuel economy isn't necessarily formulated exactly like one designed for extreme performance. A high-mileage formulation has different priorities from a standard formulation. So don't judge the entire brand from one bottle. Verdict: excellent reputation, but choose the specific formulation, not just the brand. And now we get to a particularly interesting comparison. Number 6, Quaker State. Number 6 is Quaker State, and this is where corporate ownership becomes interesting. Quaker State and Pennzoil are both associated with Shell. But that doesn't mean the oils are identical. In fact, companies routinely create different formulations for different price points and applications. That's normal. The mistake is assuming same parent company equals same oil. It doesn't. A premium product can use a different base oil strategy, additive package, or approval set from another product sold by the same company. So, when comparing Quaker State with another Shell lubricant, don't compare the family tree. Compare the actual product specifications. Verdict: potentially good value, but don't assume corporate ownership means identical chemistry. And now we're entering the first oil on this list that has a particularly interesting technology story. Number 5. Pennzoil Platinum. At number 5, Pennzoil Platinum. This one deserves attention because certain Pennzoil formulations use Shell's Pure Plus gas-to-liquid technology. Instead of relying solely on conventional crude oil refining, the process converts natural gas into a high-quality base oil. That's a real technological distinction. But here's where we need to stay objective. GTL does not automatically make an oil superior to every other synthetic on the market. The finished formulation still matters. The additives matter. The viscosity matters. The approvals matter. But if you're looking for a reason why a premium oil might deserve consideration, this is the type of information worth researching. Not a flashy racing graphic. Not a giant word saying premium. Actual formulation technology. Verdict: very interesting formulation and one of the strongest mainstream choices on this list. But we're not at the top 3 yet. Number 4. Valvoline Extended Protection. At number 4, Valvoline Extended Protection Full Synthetic. This is where we need to make an important distinction. A manufacturer can offer multiple synthetic products because drivers have different needs. Extended protection is aimed at people looking for additional protection characteristics under demanding operating conditions. But ask yourself something. Do you actually need to pay for those extra features? If you're driving a normal commuter vehicle, following the manufacturer's maintenance schedule, and using the correct specification, the most expensive oil on the shelf may not be necessary. But if you're dealing with severe service, extreme temperatures, heavy loads, or a demanding engine, premium formulations can make more sense. Verdict: strong premium option, but only worth the extra money if your application justifies it. And now, the rules change. Number 3. Mobile One ESP/specific approval formulations. At number 3, we're moving away from simply asking, which brand is best? We're asking, which oil gives you the right combination of formulation and manufacturer approval? This is where products such as Mobile One ESP and other approval-focused formulations become interesting. The key word here is approval. A manufacturer approval means the oil has been formulated to meet a particular automaker's requirements. And for many modern engines, that can matter more than whether the bottle says premium, performance, racing, or synthetic. If your vehicle specifically requires an OEM approval, that requirement should be one of your first filters. Not price, not popularity, not YouTube comments. Verdict: one of the smartest premium choices when the specific formulation matches your vehicle's approval requirements. But number 2 has an entirely different advantage. Number 2, Pennzoil Platinum. Yes, Pennzoil Platinum is back, and there's a reason. Its Pure Plus/GTL technology gives certain formulations a compelling base oil story. But more importantly, Pennzoil provides extensive technical information about its products. That gives you something valuable, a way to investigate what you're actually buying. That's how I want you to think about engine oil. Don't ask, which bottle looks the most expensive? Ask, what technology is being used? What specifications does it meet? Does my engine require those specifications? And finally, is the price reasonable for what I'm getting? If those answers line up, you're not simply buying a marketing story, you're making an informed purchase. But one oil still takes the number 1 position. Number 1, AMSOIL Signature Series. At number 1, AMSOIL Signature Series. AMSOIL has built much of its reputation around synthetic lubrication, and the Signature Series line is positioned as a premium product for drivers who want a high-end formulation. This is the kind of oil where paying more can make sense if you actually want what the product offers and it matches your vehicle's requirements. But there's an important warning. I would not tell every driver to buy it. Why? Because the best oil for a commuter isn't necessarily the best oil for a high-performance vehicle. And the best oil for one engine may not be the correct oil for another. So even with a premium product like this, your owner's manual comes first. Verdict: excellent premium candidate, especially for drivers deliberately seeking a high-end synthetic formulation. And now let's make the entire list useful. The 3 worth buying. So, if I had to narrow this entire list down to 3, Numero 3. A specification-focused Mobile 1 formulation when it carries the approval your engine actually requires. Number 2. Pennzoil Platinum, especially when its specific formulation and price makes sense for your vehicle. Number 1. Amsoil Signature Series, for drivers specifically looking for a premium synthetic formulation and willing to pay for it. But there's something even more important than this ranking. You shouldn't blindly copy my 3 choices. And here's why. The 5-second oil check. The next time you're standing in the store, pick up the bottle, turn it around, and check 5 things. 1. Viscosity. Is it the grade your engine requires? 2. Performance classification. Look for the applicable API or industry specification. 3. Manufacturer approvals. Does it meet the approval your engine requires? 4. Technical data. Can you find meaningful information about the product's formulation and performance? And 5. Price. Because if 2 oils both meet the exact requirements your engine needs, and one costs substantially less, you don't automatically get more engine protection by buying the expensive one. Think about your car for a second. You probably depend on it every day. It takes you to work. It takes your family places. It gets you home when the weather is bad. And inside that engine, thousands of moving parts are operating under heat, pressure, and friction. The oil you choose matters. But choosing the right oil isn't about finding the bottle with the biggest marketing claim. It's about understanding what you're actually buying. So next time you see full synthetic on the shelf, don't stop at the front of the bottle. Turn it around. Read the specifications. Check the approval. Compare the price. Because the smartest oil buyer isn't the person who spends the most. It's the person who knows exactly what they're paying for.